back there screaming, going, rah, running around. He's gone. All right. So, it's fucking Nebraska. Goddamn Nebraska. Why you gotta be like that? I believe that's the issue. I think he's having a little bit of internet connectivity issue at the moment.
How
What's
about
going on,
now?
buddy?
Jesus.
Were
It
you
ain't
having
my
a little
internet,
hash?
it's yours.
I'm hosting a damn thing. How can it be my internet?
What? I'm gonna walk outside. How about now?
Now we're still good.
Is it too loud?
No, it's perfect.
My neighbor's mowing.
Oh no, we can't even hear the mowing.
Okay. All right.
Chris Dewey, whoever you are in the comments, how do you get on here and talk some shit? All you gotta do is send me a message or hang out around long enough, and I'll just click the button and let you on. Joey, for those folks tuning in that don't know, tell us who you are, where you're from, what you drive.
Well, if you don't know, you must live under a rock, for one. But my name's Joey Hiykel. I drive a car named the Beater Bomb. It's one of a kind. You can't replicate that patina anywhere,
Absolutely.
no matter how many people try. But yeah, it's pretty well known. I mean, around the Midwest, I'd say, and the Midwest I'd call, anywhere in the middle of the United States, up or down. I travel to quite a bit.
Absolutely.
I do get around. I went to Arizona in December. I really wish I could make it out to Ohio for Billy's race, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. I just took 2 weeks off of work for a TV show, car build kind of thing, and
Yeah.
that we all work jobs, as the other guys were saying, so it's kind of hard. But yeah, I drive the Beater Bomb. I get around quite a bit. I try to travel a lot. There's not really any local cars besides my buddy Joe and his Blackhawk to race. That's kind of on our
Same playing
level, so
field.
to say. Yeah, I mean, I have another Mustang that was my first car, and I race it around here local, and it's pretty fun. I mean, I don't race for money in it, but it
Right.
it runs pretty good for, it's a stock 4.8 with a 76, but it runs pretty good for what it is. Otherwise, yeah, I do some no prep racing. I do some prep racing. I do a lot of street racing.
Run
That's
them
kind
streets,
of
allegedly.
Yeah, that's kind of my cup of tea. Not everybody has billions of dollars to build big motors or this and that, and
Right.
on the street it doesn't take a lot of horsepower. Although there's some races where I've put down some power, but it's a lot of a tuner's game,
Right.
and you have to know your car. And I've had this piece of junk Mustang for, I think, 12 years maybe now.
I was gonna
I
say, I think it's been a while because one of the questions I was gonna ask is how long you've been at it. Because I remember, like, I want to say 5, 6, 8, 9 years ago, the videos on YouTube, Beater Bombs here, whatever, and racing that same damn car for years. I mean, I think part of
Yeah.
that too is the experience, not changing cars, always having the same cars. Obviously improving it over time, but that experience helps tremendously on the street.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I've had the same car, but everybody says that, oh, you've had the same car this long and that, but trust me, nothing's the same from day to day pretty much. I'm always out there trying to go faster, so you change stuff, and
Right.
then shit breaks, you got to swap motors, whatever. And so yeah, I do have a lot of experience with my car itself,
Right.
but I am also out there trying to go faster and faster every time.
And change
The
it up.
one thing I will say is if I get one pass on one road, it's
It's game
it's
over.
picking up it's picking up seconds from there on out. And that's probably where I shine, is that the first round off the trailer, no test hits. I have quite a few tune-ups where you just look at a road and you're like, "Oh, this one will work," and
Right.
usually it does. There's been times where I have lost first round, and it happens. I mean,
Look,
you missed
I
the
know
tune-up.
folks that say the only way to beat you is in the first round. That's the only, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I don't think so. Like I call people out every race I go to, but you'll never catch me accepting a call out from somebody else because you're always like, man, is this guy crazy? I mean,
He's a little wild.
or does he know something I don't?
Right.
It's kind of scary when you're on the other side of that fence, but usually I like to call somebody out or somebody's talking crap. You never know. I mean,
Right.
there's a race I'm going to this weekend. I got a first round call out for $500,
Where's that
but
one at?
it's up in Chicago.
Oh, that one.
There's a
Yeah.
28-inch tire race. It should pay like 6 grand or so.
Yeah, some little hood rat shit going on.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I like to travel. I mean, I don't like to travel, but
But you
I
have to.
go where the money is. I mean, there's no. I don't beat around the bush. I ain't in this for fun. I'm in this to win money. I mean, I'm not
I'm in
gonna
this to
lie
beat
to
your
you.
ass and take your money. Is pretty much what I hear you
Yeah,
saying.
I'll be out there flipping quarters. I'll call people out. I mean, whatever. Scared money don't make money, and I'll
You got to
I'll
bet
learn.
big to
I'll
win
live
big.
by that till I die. You know.
Absolutely. Now, talking about the deal where you took 2 weeks off, I'm not sure how much you're allowed to say about that. You know what I mean? 'Cause you don't want to give your
Oh,
shit away. But what was that experience like? You know, being a part of that build off.
so pretty much, uh, Joe, my buddy, he's like, "Hey, I wanna give this Horsepower Wars a shot." And Horsepower Wars, their first season was last year, and it's pretty much where you get $7,000 in Summit bucks and $3,000 cash money.
Right.
And you have to buy a car, one of their pre-selected 4 cars, for $500 out of your cash money. So in theory, you only get 9,500 bucks, but
Right.
then you get 10 days to build this car from zero. I mean, yeah, the car that we got, it was a 79 Cutlass, I think it was. G body thing, I don't fucking know.
You're not a
But
G body fan? I
no,
love the
no,
G bodies.
no. And so it already had a motor and tranny in it, so we had to take all that stuff out, and
Right.
we
Because
did
it
a
was bone
stock
stock.
4.8. Yeah, oh yeah, I mean, we did a stock 4.8, and they have a bunch of rules like cast 80 mil turbo is the largest turbo you can go unless you want to do twin 57s or something, which
Right. So it's like a GT 45.
57s, they're not going to make as much power as an 80. So that's what we were doing that for 2 weeks in California. That was a couple weekends ago, and I gave everybody on the streets a break. I told them, I said, you get as many wins as you can while I'm gone, because when I come back, it ain't gonna be good.
That's it. Taking a break. Justin Castro says, "I know a G body that would gap that ass." Look, I hate to tell you guys this, but I have watched at this point. I don't even know how many videos of that fucking car, and for the longest, and I don't even know at this point. I think people have stopped asking me what's in the car because they were trying to figure that out forever. Like, what motor combination? What is it? Whatever. You know what I mean? Every time it's
Well,
always
I
the
mean,
answer.
I guess everybody just needs to get out their checkbook, call Mike Lau Racing Engines, and you just tell them, "Hey, I want the beater bomb special." I this
It's a
has happened
package.
a
You can buy
lot.
it on a crate.
You can, and he's like, "You can't afford it." That's what he told me.
Nice.
Yeah, no, he built some good engines. It's pretty much a small block,
All right.
and I just don't think horsepower or engine combos are the key to winning races. It's
Well,
behind the keyboard. I'm telling you.
I think the difference is too is everybody always wants to ask and everybody wants advice on the build. Oh, what do you have? What is this motor train? You could take the same motor, trans, suspension, seat, fucking seatbelt, everything. Put a car identical and it's still not going to work the same way. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
All I can say is get out there, test it, test some more, and then try new stuff. I mean, just because you think it may be fast enough, what if you could go faster? You
right.
don't know till you try. And you might go out there and go slower. And I've been down that road too, but then hey, this doesn't work or this does this. And then from there on out, like, oh, let's try this.
Yeah,
you
and
know. So
it's an education, and it's an education you learn by going out there and doing it. You can read every book, you can, you know what I mean. You can ride the, watch the videos, this, that, and the other. I'm a listener. I listen to everything everybody says because I just like to absorb it, pick it up. But even still,
mhm.
the only, the best way to do it is the experience.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, getting out there and testing different roads too, or different tracks. I mean, I'm very organized. I have countless hours into on my laptop
Right.
looking over data logs, or
You got them
you
all like
know,
in files, like
I
concrete A.
you'd be
Accuracy
surprised.
source samples, fucking, well, I pulled it out, and we're gonna need to go to
Yeah,
concrete C folder, do
you'd be
temperature.
surprised. I have them by date and event and road. And so if I ever go back to that road, I know like, hey, this worked or this didn't, or it hooked here or didn't. And I think that's partly what helps me out so much is that I'm not scared to get around or go to different towns. And it pushes me to get better because, in theory, you're going to roads that these other guys have raced on before. And here I
Right.
am driving, I drive 8 hours almost every weekend and come to their hometown or their road, and I still, have a good time and do pretty good, I'd say.
So my question, I got two questions. Number one, are you accepting a call out in Chicago? Do you know yet, or what's going on with that?
Yeah, yeah, I'm in.
If he
I
wants it, he can
just
get it.
That means that I don't have to race my buddy Joe because that's the worst. You and your best buddy travel to 6.5, 7 hours away and you race each other first round. So
No.
usually I am the guinea pig and I'm the one that calls somebody out so we don't have to race each other.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, this guy Chris that I'm racing, not saying he's a bad guy, but he likes to talk a lot and maybe he is fast. I've never raced him personally.
Right.
I have been at an event that he was at and he said he's the baddest motherfucker on 28s. And I told him, I said, well, I guess I'll see you in the finals.
Right.
Well, only one of us went to the finals and won it, and it wasn't him.
Damn. So there it
So,
is. So then my next
I
question
mean,
is there anybody that this year, is there anybody coming up this year that you're really interested in racing? Is there somebody, you know what I mean? I see a lot of people comment Z Unit. I mean, is there anybody you want to, get down with again, or haven't had the opportunity to yet but want to?
not really. I don't really go out there and be like, I want to race this guy. Like I said before, I just chase the money.
Right.
If yeah, that race against the Z Unit guy from California, that was a real good race, really close. I've never had a race that close. I'm not one to go out there and make excuses. You either win or you
Right.
lose, and you do better next time. And if we line up again, I'm gonna go out there and give it my best. I do feel like I could have done better, but in the end, I still beat him, and it
Right.
was a good race. And we plan to be near each other again. I think in July. I'm not sure when it is, but yeah,
Part two.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 It's definitely Toby puts on some really badass races. He does a really good job. I've been in his shoes before, and it's a really hard job to put on races, let alone illegal races.
Right.
And I don't think people give him enough credit for the work that he puts into it. I know the day of he does get a little nervous, and you
Well,
know
look,
it happens.
between you and I got to hit my favorite piece out in the garage before I come on the podcast every time because you know what I mean.
Yeah,
You still get nervous,
I
it
mean
is what it
it
is.
happens. You got a lot of people complaining or stuff like that, and it's hard to keep up with everybody or know where you're going to go next or this and that. And
Yeah.
I feel like he does a really good job, and I love going to the races he puts on. And he always does the fairest decisions that he can at the time.
Yeah.
Sure, there's always going to be these people on the internet
Oh,
afterwards like,
absolutely.
oh, slow down the video this much and this and that, and I will say every time I've seen the slow mo videos afterwards, he's always right.
Yeah, and here's the thing: people don't understand that. You know what I mean? There's differences in camera angle. I know very little bit about videos, so I know that the camera angle and shit can change how that appears and how it looks. So
Oh yeah,
you do the best job you can at the time with what you've got, and not it is what it is, because we don't got enough time. There's not enough time to sit here and overanalyze. It's not the fucking NFL. You know what I mean? We can't stop this. We
exactly.
can't stop the illegal fucking street race and just sit here with our thumbs up our asses because we want to look at video more.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
speaking of him,
definitely.
not getting enough credit, is there anybody that helps you out? Anybody that you work with, anybody that you feel like maybe doesn't get enough of a shout out or anything that helps contribute to your program?
Well, for one, my wife probably
Yeah, that's a good one.
she takes care of my kid Reed all the time, 24/7, and this week after the week after I got back from the California deal, I had a lot to get done, and it's really hard because everybody wants to spend time with you, but
Yeah.
she noticed that I really wanted to work on the car and get it ready for racing and stuff like that, and she's very supportive of that. But otherwise, yeah, just that's about it, I guess.
Well, I mean, that's an
My
important question.
sponsors,
Yeah.
all of them that help me out. I can't this racing career or whatever you want to call it, winning is never guaranteed. So you go to these
Right.
races and you never know if you're going to take money home. Obviously, I try every time, but like I said, I've lost before, and the sponsors that help me out with parts, dyno time, you
Right.
name it, gas money here and there, tires, they all
It adds
they all
up.
help me out. So
Well, now here's a question. I got a gentleman in the comments. This guy's been going off the chain. He says he's from Massachusetts. He will come to you and he wants to race. What do you say to something like that?
I I
Put the
get
fucking
this
money
a
up.
lot. It is hilarious. I get this a lot. Like, hey, I'm the baddest motherfucker, not you.
Right.
I come find out. I mean, come to these races I go to. You message me, ask me where I'm going.
Right.
I don't care.
That's
But
it.
one thing's for sure, I'm not gonna travel somewhere to race one person.
Right.
I will tell you that right now. No matter who you are,
What about the
I'm
money?
not
What if it's a lot of
traveling.
money?
No, see,
No.
I'm not into that. I'm into spending 250 bucks to win 8,000 because I can go 5 rounds
Gotcha.
and beat everybody. Whether I mess up and lose to one person for 8,000, it's possible.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. I like to gamble, but I'm just not that type of person to go out there and grudge race one
Right.
guy traveling 8 hours for 10 grand or whatever.
I seen
Because
that these
I
fucking
know,
Honda guys raced $20,000, 10,000 aside. And they were fucking Hondas. I mean, don't get me wrong, they were fast Hondas, like Civics and shit, but it was still like 8 second cars. Fucking twenty
yeah,
thousand dollars.
yeah. I mean, scared money don't make money. You got to gamble. But yeah, I mean, I'm just the type that I like to do the cash days or shootouts or whatever. And if you want to
Absolutely.
race first round for 500 to 2 grand, I'm in.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine with me, but me traveling somewhere to race one guy,
What
it's
about them
just,
coming to you? He says he'll come right to your
yeah.
house.
And I mean, that's fine if
Yeah,
that's
that's
what
a
they
little
want
more
to do,
doable.
just to say they raced the beater bomb,
The
I
motherfucking
guess, that it is what it is, and that's fine if that's what they want to do. I would much rather recommend, hey, you meet up at an event that's
right.
halfway for both of us, and we race first round.
First round, and we'll
And
put some
if
money up there.
yeah, I mean that's fine with me. It doesn't bother me. So, but there's just no
Well, it's no
real
end. It's
roads around here.
and it's no end to the internet. I mean, everybody sees it. Everybody's seen the car. And what folks don't understand, like, see, at least I like your approach. You're fucking honest about it. I'm about the fucking money. That's it. All right. So now we know what
I
we're
mean,
dealing with. You know what I mean? But that's the thing. You know how many fucking? There's probably 100 messages a day. Hey, I want to race you. Hey, I want to. And then
oh yeah,
look now.
you
Watch
you'd
this.
be surprised.
No, because I know what happens. Because I know what's going to happen is now that you and I have you've been on the show with me here. They're going to start sending me messages. Hey, get fucking Joey to race me. Blah blah blah. Well, you heard the man. Put up some fucking money. Meet up at a race. Run it first round. That's how you can get it done.
Yeah, and I really tried to come to that Detroit Four-Year and Puddle race. I think it was last weekend.
Yeah.
I really tried. Billy's dad, he was gonna give me a spot, and I really appreciate him doing that if he's listening. But I broke some parts, and it just happens. Like I
It
said,
didn't work
anything
out though.
happens.
Well, here's the good
And
news.
so,
The good news is there is one for your own prep event at Milan Dragway, one a month from now until like November is the last one. So there's more
yeah.
opportunity, and we're talking about trying to get some other things going a little bit higher of a buy-in. You know what I mean? Maybe nothing crazy, but a little bit higher to get some out of towners really interested in making a real nice pot, that kind of deal.
Yeah, the thing that really sucks, and I talked to Megan about this, is that it's a Friday race.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard for us out of towners to take Friday off to travel there. And what made it most appealing this last go around is that there was an event on Saturday also.
Yeah.
So when there's a 2-day deal, it's a lot easier, but I thought Megan said maybe that one was going to get rescheduled again.
Well, they were going to have a $5,000 free entry deal, but we got hit with the rain, and there was all sorts of issues. So I think they're going to reschedule that deal. But I'm glad you said something about the Friday, because I meant to bring that up to Mike as well, seeing if maybe we can do something on a Saturday or something like that where, it would allow for the out-of-towners to be able to travel. Because we're not starting until night, 8, 9 o'clock at night, whatever it was anyway.
Right. But I'm not sure how far away that is from me, but it was quite a ways. It was 10, 11 hours.
Ooh.
So.
Gotcha, brother. Well, look.
Hey, like I said, I like to race, and the top end races that I really like those. They're really challenging. I've been to a couple where. Oh, you're still there. Okay, sorry.
We're here. We're good.
I've been to a couple, and wow, you just go to a certain place and you're like, I can't do any better. I gave it my best and I lost. And there's been times where I've been like that, and it just happens where either the car isn't working or everybody else is just that much faster.
Yeah, or just that much more experienced in that, you know what I mean? Because I think them Detroit guys, they've had 2 or 3 of them now. You know what I mean? They know a little bit more. They've been down that area, that road.
Yeah, definitely. And hopefully, when I go to places like that where there's been several test passes or whatever, usually I really hope I get a duck first round to where I can get a mediocre tune-up put in and it goes okay, and then I just build off that. And like I said, if I get one pass on X road, I work off that really well, and that's part of the reason I hate testing. Allowed testing, I guess, not testing, just allowed testing at certain races, because that takes out of the experience of a tuner, I guess, to where
it does that, and it does a couple other things too. Is it takes away from maybe some folks that are a little bit outmatched in the race, by having no testing. It increases their odds a little bit too. It makes their chances a little bit better. But that's, like you said, you get the fucking test pass, it's game over. You know what you're doing. Well, for some other guys, they get a little bit of advantage of that, not seeing, 4, 5, 6 passes go down. They know they don't have all that, amount of data and everything else.
Exactly. I mean, there's been places I go to, like Coffeyville was an event that they shut down a road in the town, and I never lost there till a couple weeks ago, old Kyle, he in his the love truck,
The love truck.
he got me good. I crossed the center line and he made an excellent pass, but I didn't do it. They allow testing at that event, and I'm like, "Pfft, I've made 100 passes on this
Right.
exact road, left lane, right lane, whatever. I don't need any testing." And I go out there and we make it all the way to the finals against Kyle, and he told me after we raced that I picked the wrong lane, and there's a bump. It's about 100 feet of concrete, and then it's asphalt.
Right.
And when it goes to the asphalt, it's like an opposite of a jump. It goes down,
Right.
and I just couldn't get the car sorted out after the bump, and Kyle drove right around me. He made a better pass, and that's racing.
Yeah.
You win some and you lose some, and
And any given
I
day that can change. You know what I mean?
yep. I told Kyle, I said, you ain't gonna beat me again.
It's not happening no more.
Nope. But he made a really good pass, and that their combo is brand new. They just put an LS in that truck, and
Yeah, and the
they got it
one of the
working
McCain
really
boys is
good. And
over there tuning it, I believe.
yeah,
I know
yeah, it's running real good. He's definitely a front competitor in any of the races we go to. And I have more power than him, but it's just whether or not the road can handle it. And
right.
in that case, I overpowered Coffeyville, and I got a little squirrely, and he made a good pass and went right on by.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, that definitely.
Right. Well, look, brother, I appreciate you jumping on here, and we'll probably have to catch up and do this again. Good luck in the travels in the hood rat shit. I don't know if I'm gonna be out there for that or not. But is there anything you want to say before we kick you off here for tonight?
The streets ain't safe. Be
Just
careful out there.
put the money up. They ain't safe. Beater bomb's taking the fucking money home.
Yep, yep. You never know where I show up. If that's the bad thing is I ain't scared to drive. Neither is Joe. And we sometimes we just load up and drive 10, 12 hours. I
Right.
mean, Arizona when we went to, it was 20 some hours. It was pretty bad, but it was in the middle of December, snows here in the Midwest, and we just wanted
Right.
to race. But yeah,
Absolutely.
thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Joey Hiykel, driver to Beater Bomb. That you guys have seen that Mustang. I mean, like I said, I feel like I've seen that thing like 10 years ago, like we first started watching that thing. And that was really one of what I would say probably one of the things that really helped put 1320 video on the map, and also like really brought the forefront of street racing, really started, you know what I mean, to come around at that kind of time. So Beat a Bomb, one of the nicest guys around. Here's the deal, guys. You heard it. If you guys want to race him, the best thing to do, shoot a message, find out where the next shootout is, get in there, call him out first round, throw some extra money up, make it happen. The man told us today it's about the money. He's coming to take your shit and take it home with him. Also, want to shout out everybody in the comments joining in. Let's see, we got Kyle Buckmaster in the comments too. Kyle, we're gonna have to get you on as well. I think that would be another great episode. So if you're still watching, Kyle, don't even get invited to Oklahoma and shows up still. Someone else that's coming back is Eric Bunton. Joanne Parrish gave 1320 the video, the footage to build upon. Yep, so there was a lot of good stuff there. Well, here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, I am going to stick to about the timeline because, honestly, because I got some stuff to do. We got stuff to get together and make happen. But I want to remind you guys, I want to thank the sponsors once again. Snake Eater Performance, VS Racing, No Prep Racing, Skinny Sauce, Trick Turbo, Great Apparel, uh, Great American Printing and Design, Great Apparel Printing and Design, I apologize, Streetcar Fabrication, my boy J Malcolm 2004, you guys know the deal, he's the one that put me on. I want to shout out um, I want to shout out Rick Belmont, Florida Rip It. I want to shout out Detroit Hood TV. I will be in the house the 21st flagging the next Pour Your Own Prep race. Also, I'm going to do my very best to talk with them guys and see if we can maybe push around a schedule a little bit or do something extra or whatever, because I know it's kind of hard for the out of town guys to get in here. and to get over there. You know what I mean? I know it's a hard thing to travel. I hear Gary saying it's time to get the story in. So for those of you guys, Boosted is putting the yellow car back on the street too. Awesome. So for those of you guys that don't know, I'm going to go ahead and tell you the story. And there was a little video attached, but I did not. I'm not posting that video, at least not at the moment. It's pretty funny, but a bunch of people saw it. I'm going to tell you guys real quick. The last thing before I get off here tonight is the story of how I got my first misdemeanor. So your boy Matt Ryce, right? Traveling out of town. We're up Milan Dragway, and I got to go to Ohio. I got to go catch this little mini cash days over there in Ohio, right? So I'm driving through, whatever. I had completely forgotten that it was Memorial Day weekend. And I should have known because I got pulled over Friday and I got a warning. And then Saturday, I get pulled over again for speeding. Kind of a screwed up situation. Whatever road I ended up getting on, it ended up being 65. And out there, the speed limit was 70 everywhere. So 80 was about safe. At least that's what the first cop told me the day she gave me the warning. So anyways, I get pulled over, right? And the cop pulls me over, starts asking me for my information. Well, I'm in a rental car. So I got to pull my insurance up on the phone because I don't have an insurance card, obviously, inside the rental car. So the cop pulls me over, asking me for that. I'm trying to go on the phone, and the cop is like, look, I smell a strong odor of marijuana coming from this car. Is there something you'd like to tell me? And right then and there, your boy Matt Ryce knew he was fucked. I knew they were searching the car. I knew it was going downhill from there. And that's what, you know what I mean, just that was going to be my luck for the day. So I told the cop straight up, look, yes, I have some. Yes, you know what I mean, it's on me. I'll tell you where it's at, whatever. And he's like, well, is it a lot? Is it? I was like, no, it's just my luck. You know what I mean? For those of you guys that don't know, I have stomach problems. So I use marijuana as a form of treatment for those stomach issues, right? Well, so I tell the cop whatever. He pulls me out the car, pats me down, obviously. At this point, I'm cool. I'm chilling because I had asked him, I said, hey, you know, what's the laws like in this state? What state are we? We're in Ohio. He's like, well, if it's not a large amount, it's just like a ticket. It's like a fine. And I'm like, all right, cool. So then we're just going to go ahead and do this real quick. Wrapped up. I'll get back on the road, get out to the Ohio cash days. So he pats me down, everything. He's still really, really uptight. At this point, I don't give a shit because I'm just like, whatever. So sit in the back of the car. Well, he's asking me about, you know, do you have any pills? Do you have any weapons? Do you have any this, that, and the other? Well, when he says pills, I'm like, well, actually, I do. And what I usually do, and Bill can verify this because I gave it to Bill one time. When I travel, Mallory packs me some Advil or Tylenol or something in a pill bottle so I can take it with me. Excuse me, so I can take it with me in case I get a headache or anything like that. So the pill bottle is just a regular prescription pill bottle with no label on it. Well, when I left the house, we didn't have any Tylenol, Advil, anything like that. But Mallory had some over-the-counter, you know, not over-the-counter, but generic brand, you know, Midol, which apparently you can take for a headache as well. So she threw that in. Shout out to her because I really appreciate having something over having absolutely nothing. So I had to explain to the cop the pill bottle. Well, he's like, now he don't believe me. They had to Google the pill bottle. So I'm in the back of the car, everything, and he gets to the trunk, and I had forgotten. Remember when I gave away those samples of Skinny sauce? Well, I had all of those in the trunk, but they're not labeled, they're not marked, anything. It's just a shampoo little trial size bottle filled with Skinny sauce, which is like chemical and everything else. So I'm in the back of the car freaking out, trying the window doesn't work. I try knocking on it, they can't hear me because I'm trying to explain that the Skinny sauce is in the trunk. I'm like, you know, these people already, he's got the pill bottle in his hand. I gave up the marijuana. Now he's going to think this is some kind of other crazy drug. Your boy Matt Ryce is going to jail today. This is how it's going down. I had to call Billy because I was supposed to meet up Billy. I had to call the woman and let her know, hey, stay by the phone just in case this turns sideways, in case they throw me in jail over some fucking Skinny sauce trial bottles in the trunk and, and go on from there. Well, the fucked up part is another cop came to help with the search. And it was a woman. So they come back to the car, and then he's trying to Google the pills, and he's asking me about the Skinny sauce. And I'm like, well, if you guys, how the fuck do I explain this? If you guys have ever raced before, well, it's traction compound. We use it to, you know what I mean, get the tires sticky, everything in a drag race, blah, blah, blah. And the woman cop, this motherfucker has the nerve to be like, I don't know. They use water over there at the track. And I was like, oh, here we go. Now I got to explain. Well, it's for fucking street racing. So I was like, look, it's back half of the track. I got the video. I can show you everything. Right. Trunk full of Rip It. offered the cop a Rip It. I'm like, look, this is going to look really strange. I've got 6 cases of Rip It back here. I was like, you probably don't know what Rip It is. He's like, oh, I was in the Marines. I was like, well, then you know exactly what it is, my dude. Do you want to Rip It? He wouldn't take it. Long story short, they Google the pills. They turn out to be what they're supposed to be. The Skinnies, he left me alone about it. It looked like they didn't search the car too hard because I was pretty open about just giving up what I had. And then at the end of it all, he's writing me tickets, whatever. Well, the speeding ticket, I think the speeding ticket is more expensive than the weed deal, because the weed deal, for under 100 grams or whatever, it was like a maximum fine of $150. So I get this ticket. He's like, well, you don't got to go to court. You can call in, whatever. Perfect. My man, thank you very much. We're like in and out in 45 minutes. He took all the marijuana out the car. Your boy Matt Ryce is a little upset, but we're moving forward. We're getting to cash days. We're making progress. And then I asked him at the end, I was like, all right, so what are we doing here? Give me the tickets. Do I get that stuff back? And he's like, the dude's still uptight and crazy. He's looking at me. He's like, no, that's the evidence. And I was like, but you don't need any evidence. Like, I admitted to it. I was open about it. Like, you're not going to put me in and get it back. Needless to say, your boy did not get it back. That's how it worked out. As it turns out, that piece of paper claims it is a misdemeanor. That's your boy Matt Rice's first misdemeanor, first time in the back of a cop car. I've done a lot of dumb shit. A lot of it's traffic related. Been to court, everything. So that's the deal, guys. That's how your boy Matt Ryce got his first misdemeanor. And that is why I'm going to be a little bit more careful when I'm traveling across the country and driving around all these races. I want to thank absolutely everybody for tuning in. I want to thank the guests for coming on. We're going to have another great show next week at some point, probably Wednesday night at 9 p.m. That's usually when we do them. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Thank you to sponsors again. And for now, stay tuned as we bring you more coverage and more pandemonium in the streets happening nonstop. I want to give you guys one more time. If you're in that position where you find yourself happening to need a few big tire cars on short notice to go and race on the street, you should probably call your boy Matt Rice. I'm going to tell you that right now. But thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, it's Pandemonium in the Streets. Your boy Matt Rice. I'm out.